Welcome to the Wellness for Women show, where we talk about life, weight loss and everything in between. I'm Faye Caseman, founder of the AAA Way Life and Weight Loss Programme, and I'm here to help you put together the pieces of life and weight loss for one last time. This is an episode of the Wellness for Women show, filmed live in the free Facebook group. So tonight I am going to talk about weight loss is not linear, then the difference between a gain, a stall, and a plateau. So let me know in the chat, do you know the difference between a gain, a stall, and a plateau? And if so, do you feel confident knowing how you can bust through each of them? That's what I would like to know. So when you are watching this, let me know in the chat. It comes up in time order, so really handy to know whether, did you already know this? Maybe you already knew it. I was thinking that people might not be so clear, but maybe I am wrong. Let me know in the chat. Okay, so let me know when you can. So have you ever caught yourself questioning, why haven't I lost weight that week? You must have. We all do it at the end of the day. You've looked at the scale, your heart's sunk, it hasn't moved, or maybe it's gone up. We just can't help it. When we embark on a weight loss journey, we have an inbuilt hope. This is time it's going to be different. This time the weight will just miraculously fall off. I'm going to be skinny this time. You wish it was easy. You wish it would just happen already. You're doing all the things though, but the scale just is not moving and it's just not fair. You can rationally tell yourself that this, it happens from time to time, but it still sucks, right? The sheer frustration that comes when your dreams and expectations are not met is unreal. We have all been there. If I am right, let me know in the chat. Am I right? The frustration can be very real with regards to weight loss sometimes. So, who am I? If you don't know me and we haven't met before, then a quick introduction from me. So I am Faye Caseman. I'm the creator of the AAA Way weight loss program, where I help women to lose weight for good by ditching traditional dieting methods. And I do this by teaching my AAA women how they can craft their own unique, joyful weight loss journey. And all it takes is some simple daily steps that they can use anytime, any place, anywhere, without counting or eliminating or feeling restricted. No fads, no pills, no potion, no nothing. So if you are wanting to know more about that, drop me a message after you've watched the live. Also, click on the comment section and let me know. Drop me a hashtag show notes if you want to grab a copy of the show notes from today's live. So just leave me a hashtag show notes and I'll fire you over the link to the show notes, aka the blog. So when it comes to weight loss, there's no one size fits all solution. What works for one person may not work for another, and what works today may not work tomorrow. That is the joy of weight loss. And that is because weight loss is not linear. It doesn't always go in a straight line. Instead, it can be more of a roller coaster. It tends to go a bit like this. But yeah, our expectations are that it should just be, actually it should be going like that, that it should be going like that. Whereas really it goes a bit like that. Maybe a bit like that, and then a bit like that, and then a bit like that. But here's the thing. Those ups and downs are all part of the process, and they are completely normal. They are neutral, factual events that have no meaning until we have a thought about them, which then leads us to have a feeling. Most probably the feeling of frustration. And one of the main reasons that people give up on weight loss journeys is because they get frustrated when the scale doesn't move. You get thoughts cropping up like, what's the point? I'm never going to lose weight. Then when you first start out on your weight loss journey, you might find that the weight is falling off quite easily. So you get lulled into this full sense of security that it's all going to be great. This time it is going to be the final time I am going to lose weight for good. But then something happens. So like I said, start off with when we're first starting out a journey, you usually do lose weight, and you do usually lose weight quite quickly. Not necessarily always, but you can do. The number of reasons for that. One of the reasons could be that you're shedding water weight, and just generally because you are starting to eat a lot less than you normally would do, because we're all fired up, we're motivated, we're ready, and we're ready to go. But after a while, that weight loss likely will slow down, and that's when the frustration sets in. So have you ever thought to yourself on any of your weight loss journeys previously, why isn't this working for me anymore? So leave me a yes if that's something that you've experienced before. So the thing is that it is working. You just have to be patient. I know it's hard, but it is working. You just need to be patient and keep figuring it out ultimately. So why do we gain, stall and plateau? And what are the differences? So ultimately there are many factors that can come into play, and dieting, when you just look at traditional dieting, only looks at some of them. Traditional dieting doesn't factor in stress, it doesn't factor in hormones, how much water you're drinking, sleep, your lifestyle choices, your habits, outside life influences, or whether you just need a poop. So let's have a little deep dive into each of these areas. So gains. So you might be thinking right now, Faye, I know what a gain is, duh. Why are you talking about this? Well, of course you do. You know what a gain is. It, of course, is when the scale goes up. But it is why and what you do with it that is what I want to talk about today. So what do you think, feel and do when you see that Gale? Who's Gale? Gain on the scale? Even if you're expecting it, as you think that you've had a bad week, you know, your first thought likely still will be something along the lines of, you know, oh, damn. And you're going to be feeling disappointed. If you're anything like me, you will have used lots less clean words than oh, damn. And when you see that gain on the scale, like say the frustration sets in, you may feel like you're not making any progress, that you're back to square one. But it's important to remember that a gain is not a failure. It's just a sign that you need to get curious. And there's a few different reasons why you can have a gain. So again, let's remember some of those. You know, let's put some context into a gain that you've perhaps seen on that scale. So maybe you have been eating a bit more than you normally would, you know, whether that be due to stress or hormones or simply because you are more hungry that week. You may be retaining water, again, possibly due to hormones or salt intake or dehydration even. You may have been eating more processed foods. Again, that could be because you're stressed, busy, or simply because they're convenient. You may have not been getting enough sleep, and that can affect your weight and also your hormones. You might have some kind of inflammation in your body. You know, you could have taken some medication that's impacting the balance. And you may have had a big loss the week before and your body's just adjusting. You know, the ultimate thing here, though, is the key is to just not let that one number on the scale determine your worth or how you feel about yourself. The trick really is to let go of the emotion and to get curious. Why might your weight have gone up? Is there something you can learn from it? Is there something you can try differently next week? So in the membership, we talk a lot about losing weight with self-love and compassion, curiosity, patience, and acceptance as well. Now, you might think that, well, acceptance, if I'm just accepting the gain, then I'm not trying. And that's not true. Ultimately, you can't fight with reality. Reality is what reality is. You can't change the number that turned up on the scale. You can only decide how you want to move forward. So you can move forward with frustration, be really annoyed with yourself, go into the next week feeling angry and probably eating because of that emotion, or you can look to accept it, take a step back, get curious and approach it with kindness. So that is how I would recommend you approach a gain. So a stall. So let's say moving into ones, I'm curious, like say, let me know when I go through what a stall is, you know, is this what you expected? Is this how you would have defined it? Do you have a different definition? So for me, a weight loss stall is where you It's where you've stopped doing the do. So you've lost your mojo. Maybe you've started half-ass in your program. You know, that happens sometimes. We tend to, again, motivation's a bit of a roller coaster. Sometimes you go up and down. You may feel like you are doing everything, though. That's the sneaky part of a stall. You may feel that weight loss is hard and that it sucks. And this is where you really have to dig deep and get into your accountability and be accountable for your actions and really look at what's going on. So are you really on plan as much as you think you are, or are you having lots of little slips? So I like to call these diet blinkers. So, you know, slips are normal. We are all human. I'm not saying that you have to be perfectly on plan all the time, because you don't. I tracked my weight loss when I was losing weight before I went into maintenance. And I would have said that in terms of being on plan and doing what I intended to do for the day, I bet I was about 80% the whole way through. In actual fact, the weeks where I thought that I was 100% on target and everything like that are the weeks where I gained. It just showed that there was no sometimes rhyme or reason to it. So like I said, this is not about trying to create perfectionism or anything like that. I'm just sort of saying, just check in with yourself, because if you're on a stall, it may well be that you have forgotten, like I say, you've got your diet blinkers on, you've forgotten that you were going to be trying to do a certain thing towards your weight loss, or you think that you're doing it, but actually maybe you could tighten up on a particular area. Ultimately, the job of our brain is to make us feel comfortable. So it will start slowly but surely to bring down the blinkers. It will encourage you to conveniently forget that you ate that extra biscuit. It will encourage you to start to think that eating over your hunger level doesn't matter, but it does all add up, and that's what can create a weight loss stall. So maybe you need a bit more support getting back on track. Maybe you need a different plan as the one that you're doing is no longer serving you. Maybe you need to check in on your thoughts and emotions, get in touch with your why, do some future you work. So these are all things that if you were on a stall and you were one of my members, I have a whole host of exercises that we will get you unstuck and started again, basically. We do a lot on sort of keeping motivation and momentum. A big area around that is action steps. I did a previous live on actions that you could check out in the guides section. I've also done a live on future you and identifying your future you. So leave me a hashtag future if you want that one, or leave me a hashtag action if you would like to have the link for either of those videos, and I'll send those over to you. But they can all help you to bust through a genuine stall at the end of the day. So there we go. Plateaus. So let me know in the chat if this is a definition that you would have created, because I think that majority of people might have tried to use a stall and a plateau interchangeably. But a weight loss plateau, a true weight loss plateau for me, is when you have been doing all of the things that you set out to for your weight loss, but the weight is just not budging. So you are eating the foods that you plan and love, you are moving your body the way that you want, you are drinking your water, you are managing your stress, you are getting enough sleep, but yet the weight loss has just come to a screeching halt. So is that what you would define as a plateau? I would also only classify a true plateau as if you haven't lost for 4 weeks in a row. Anything less than that, it could just be normal fluctuations. So for me, I literally, my whole journey to over 70 pounds lost was 2 weeks loss, either a maintain or a small gain. 2 weeks loss, a maintain, and a maintain or a gain, literally the whole way through, because mine was so related to my cycle. Whereas I do see in some of the weight loss forums that I am in, I saw somebody the other day, oh my god, I've not lost weight for 16 days. My advice was, don't panic, just keep doing what you're doing. If you're happy with how you're showing up, you're happy with the action steps that you are doing, then certainly until you get to sort of the 4 week mark, I wouldn't really be panicking. In fact, I wouldn't panic anyway. Weight loss is a long-term quest, really. If you want lasting weight loss, it should be a long-term plan and a long-term process. yes, we could all do some kind of crazy ass elimination. Let's eat let's, do some ridiculously reduced calorie kind of diet, lose it quickly. But is it sustainable? Is that what you are then going to be able to do for the rest of your life? And the answer to that is going to be a no. And that's what leads to yo-yo dieting. It leads to you losing confidence in your abilities, not trusting yourself. So patience is definitely the one skill that we want to try and master when we are losing weight, because that way we will then show up for ourselves differently in the process. So let me know in the chat, are you on a plateau right now? Do you feel that you have been working and doing all the things for weight loss for the past 4 weeks, but yet you haven't seen a budge on the scale? So let me know in the chat if that is something that's happening to you right now. And you might want to listen up. So there's a few different reasons for why that could happen. You could have reached your set point weight. So this is the weight that your body is comfortable at, and it wants you to stay that weight. And so again, our brains, it likes status quo. It's got this predestined idea in its head as to, where you should be. It doesn't know that you are on a diet. It doesn't know that you are trying to lose weight. And so sometimes you need to reassess your weight loss goals and decide, is that something that is actually achievable? So again, depends on where you're at in your journey as to whether you're at that set point for your genetic body makeup. It could be that you're on a plateau because of the type of exercise that you're doing. So it might be worth trying to mix it up a little bit. You might be eating eating too little. If you undereat, your body could go into survival mode and it could be holding on to weight. It's thinking winter is coming. I've got to store this fat. What if the tiger starts running at me? I need to store this energy, and that will ultimately get stored as fat. You may have an underlying health condition, and if so, it's probably advisable to speak to your doctor. I'm not medically trained, so that would be my advice. You may be retaining water. That could be due to hormones, stress, dehydration, inflammation. Sometimes actually adding more water can help in those circumstances. You might not be getting enough sleep. So those are some of the things that could be creating a plateau, more so than actually what you are eating and how you're moving sometimes. Again, multiple factors. The key here is not to give up. Ultimately, I am a great believer that your brain has all the power in your weight loss. It's like I say, it's got one job, and its job is to keep equilibrium within your body. It doesn't know that you are trying to lose weight, as I said a moment ago, and it doesn't know that it's causing you a problem by sending off these thoughts and sending off these hormones that are, doing all these things. So my recommendation for looking to get over a plateau is shock therapy. Now, not the real kind, you'll be pleased to know. You want to, but ultimately what you want to do is you want to give your brain a jolt to help it to think differently. So I was talking to a member this week about this technique. So let's, for example, say that you have a routine of eating similar foods day in and day out. So not that I count, like I say, I don't advocate counting calories or points. I don't think it's necessary. You just need to look at getting back in tune with your body and mind through intuitive eating techniques. But let's say you're a calorie counter, and you're going according to the books or your app or whatever it is following, and so therefore, as far as you're concerned, you should be losing weight, but you're not. And so you need to give your brain and body a little bit of a jolt. It's probably comfy where you are. It's gone on to autopilot mode. It thinks, yeah, okay, I know what we're doing now. Yeah, we eat, 1,400 calories a day. Yeah, I know how to process that. And so your brain is just, it's in cruise control on the motorway, but we want to unleash it. So what you would then want to do, the shock therapy treatment, is that you want to try doing something dramatically different. So whether eating dramatically more, so sometimes actually shocking it by eating more, or eating different types of food if you do this sort of the similar foods every day. Those are some of the tricks that you could actually use to try and bust through a plateau. I don't encourage doing anything where you feel like you're starving yourself or feeling restricted, but if you wanted to try something as an experiment, one thing that you could do is try cutting all your food in half, for example, and see how you get on. And you might be surprised as to what actually your body needs. So for anybody, again, who's not caught previous lives or doesn't know anything about the particular weight loss program that I've built, it is based around intuitive eating. So I talk about making a realistic plan, so making it super easy to do what you say that you're going to do, basically, so that, you know, when life takes hold, you don't start reaching for all the goodies, basically. And also it's about listening to your body. So I encourage people to start eating when they are feeling physically hungry, and to stop eating when they have had enough, and enough meaning that they are satisfied to get them to their next meal. So when I talk about cutting food in half, I'm not talking about somebody here who's already got a restrictive calorie count or anything like that. I'm talking about people who are eating in line with their body. So bear that in mind in terms of the advice that I just gave there. If you are doing some kind of restriction diet, please don't starve yourself. I say, totally unnecessary. You don't need to do it. I haven't starved myself 70 pounds down. And certainly I wouldn't want you to take the advice that I just gave and take it further. So shock therapy. Ultimately, just doing something different to what you do and see what happens. And then let me know. So recap time. Weight loss is not linear. Sometimes you will have little gains. Sometimes you will have stalls, and sometimes you will have plateaus. If you experience any of those, I say it's important to try and understand the difference between them, because they do all have their different little solves. And if you need help busting through any of your stalls and plateaus and want to lose weight in a way that fits with your life, with the support of a now qualified professional coach as of this week, then drop me a message, drop me a DM. Let's book in a free chat and let me talk about how I can help you. I am going to be doing, because so although I've been coaching for years, tons of experience and loads of other coaching courses under my belt, I have just got my professional certification in coaching. And so I'm doing this crazy thing. Thanks for listening. And don't forget, if you want to boost your life and weight loss the AAA way, check out the relevant links for today's show in the description. Speak soon.